Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. Let's see, everything seems to be working all right. Good. We got some people in the audience already. Excellent, excellent. So, what is today's stream going to be about? Today's stream is going to be entirely focused on taking this kind of diamond scene I have here. Let's go ahead and mute this. Let's see if this is working. Check. Check. And this is working. Good. Perfect. Very good. Steven Shook. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Hello to you too. Welcome. Glad to have you here, man. Nice to see you all. So let me check. This is working. Good, good, good. So now that all this is working fine, what I'm going to go ahead and do and say the first thing we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking kind of like this diamond scene. You might notice it for the header. Well, what today's stream is going to be about is me figuring out how to get basically another video for the Octane Master Course out. And the Octane Master Course has now progressed to the point where I'm trying to create more polished tutorials. So instead of focusing on all the nitty-gritty things and learning how-tos, we're going to be focusing on instead how to take everything we've learned in the Octane Master Course and putting it all together and making something beautiful. GLYN, Glenn, welcome. Welcome. Glad to have you here. MNIB, welcome. Glad to have you here too. Everybody's back in the chat. Lots of familiar faces here. Very nice. Very nice. And but again, what we're focusing on now is I'm just getting a scene set up, so I'm going to do a dry run with you guys on stream, and eventually this is going to be re-recorded and thrown into the Octane Master Course. So students can then learn how to take everything they've learned, all the concepts of, perfect example here, we have dispersion, we have refraction, we have different lighting techniques, we have our different kernels and render settings being applied, and we're creating this realistic diamond render. So we're going to learn how to make this in the Octane Master Course. So this stream is just going to be basically my dry run, running you guys through how I made the scene, and I'm probably going to make some tweaks. I want to make it maybe a little bit prettier. Maybe we'll make some changes. Maybe we'll get a reflective floor. But I wanted to show you guys ahead of time what we have here and what we're after, and we're just going to erase all this and start over. So, I mean, I have a little bit of stuff going on here. I am just going to give you guys a basic overview of what we got real quickly just so you can get a feel for all this before I dump it and start from scratch. But we do have a key light going on up here, just kind of giving this nice little highlights on the rims of these diamonds. We have a light on the left and a light on the right. They're just kind of like filling in lights. And we also have an Octane reflective environment, which isn't actually loaded in at all. So if we got a little bit of some reflections, let me just throw some in real quick. Where would that be under? I think it would be CVHDRIs. Oh, I uninstalled them. That's why it's not working. Okay, but the good news is I'm just going to go ahead and go here, right-click, HDRI link, open that up, select this HDRI, and then link this to that. And then there you go. Instantly, we got some nice reflections going on in our scene. Everything's working good. That's looking a lot more pretty with the reflections, so that is a key thing. But yeah, really, this is what we got here so far. So let's go ahead and just start light. Actually, I should mention what I have for materials here. So for this big kind of reddish diamond in the front, let's just go ahead and take a look at its materials here. Let's go ahead and just pop open in the node editor. Actually, it's going to be easier. So what we have here is this actually, I didn't use any noise. I'm going to go ahead and dump that. This is such a simple material. Diamonds are really easy to create. Already dislike the stream. MNIB, yeah, I don't know. That was, it's interesting. You never know on YouTube. But what we got here so far is if we take our RGB spectrum, we have it in absorption. Of course, I have a float texture running in, and my float texture is really low, 0.01. So that is going to be for our scattering, and our absorption is going to be this reddish color I did. And I'm tiny bit of scattering. I mean, just a little bit of density, and our volume step length really has no control, but this is what I literally set it for just because I like nice round numbers. Bitupon was thinking about the same thing at the start of the stream, and yeah, welcome Bitupon, nice to have you here too. Yeah, it's hard to tell with YouTube, you never know what they're going to do. But what I did is I ran this into this red material, and it's super simple. All it is, it's a specular material with an index set to 2.419, And then that's going to give us the index amount here. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy this and set this back to something like default, like 1.333. Check how this affects our diamond so much. Like you're still going to get a diamond look, but having that higher level of index, like look, it's already looking so much flatter, and there's just not as much life going on with this diamond. Like if I could just grab a render region here, paste this back in, we go from that to this. Like it's just a subtle effect, but see, we're getting these sharper kind of like bites out of this corner here, just little bits of stuff like that. So, must be a FS Storm user. Oh my gosh. Why do you dislike? There's always something to learn. By the way, hi John. Hey Batmax. Nice to see you here. Hey Glenn Dyer or Glean Glyn. Nice to see you again. Glad to have you here. But it's really cool. The index and how powerful that is and how important. Now with fake shadows, I leave that off. You could turn fake shadows on. Not recommended because it will just kind of, it's just not as realistic. You don't get quite the same level of caustic. You can, though. I mean, I'm not saying don't ever do it. It depends what the look you're going for. Definitely give it a try. I'm going to take my coherent ratio and drop that just so we just stop getting that kind of flashy look we're getting there. You can definitely use fake shadows. What does fake shadows do, just in case someone doesn't know? It recalculates how the light is shined through the object. So with fake shadows off, we're going to get a stronger shadow, like dark black shadows, much darker, not pure black. And then we're going to be higher in caustics, like much brighter caustic. This is much more realistic. Now, if I change this on, this doesn't mean we're actually doing fake shadows. This is a different type of glass, like you know those pane glasses they'd have in churches and stuff, those church windows, I forget what they're called, but glasses, they're like colored glass, right? Where the light is really changed as it shines through. This is going to give you more of that effect. So it's more of an architectural glass or something. I think that's what they call it. So again, this depends what type of look you're going for your diamond. Particularly for me, I like fake shadows off because in my opinion gives a more realistic diamond for what I'm going for. Film layer, we completely leave off. This is stuff for like soap and bubbles and oily slicks and stuff. Don't use this. Now, here's where the magic happens. This is all underneath something called dispersion. Now, notice the small value I have in here. I'm going to go ahead and copy this and remove it. If I remove dispersion, look what happens to our diamond. Let's just go ahead and remove this diamond. Yeah, let's go ahead and hide these two back diamonds. And I got to go back to this view, and we'll hop back into here. And this is with dispersion off, right? It's a very plain stained glass bit upon. That is correct. That's the word I was looking for. Stained glass. That is the word. I'm going to grab a sip of water. But here you can see, without dispersion, even that little bit goes a long way. Now, the problem is what a lot of people do is, let's go ahead and just do compare. We'll do store render buffer. Is a lot of people will crank it up. Like they'll literally just say, okay, I'll give it like 0.01 to max it out. And you really, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it is really overdoing the effect here, right? We want something a lot more subtle, and you can actually look up the scientific correct value for dispersion, and that is actually 0.044. And if you type in a value of that just a little bit, I know that seems like a small amount, but a little bit goes a long way with dispersion. And you just get a lot more color in here. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck is dispersion? What is this? Well, dispersion is literally where you take the light that is going through the object and you're actually separating each individual ray, because remember, pure white light is basically the entire rainbow, and every color that we can perceive is a break off or a different spectrum of that light. So white light can be broken into red, green, blue, every color of the rainbow. So what's interesting is we are literally taking all the colors of that light and we are spreading it out. We are breaking it apart and creating this beautiful rainbow effect we can see here. And diamonds do this. Now, there's certain different types of cuts and different types of diamonds with different dispersion levels, but in this particular case, the average, most scientifically correct dispersion amount for a diamond is 0.044, and that gives you a really nice kind of dispersion effect. And you can see here that this affects the light and how it goes through the diamond. Notice how it just gives it so much more life, and that is just a powerful feature. So I highly recommend using that for making diamonds. Next up is, how did I come up with this color? This, I did not use barely any absorption at all. I absorbed a little bit, and again, I mean a little bit, and this was just only artistic choice. You don't have to have have absorption in your diamond, because most diamonds are very transparent and have almost no absorption. What they do have, though, is transmission. So that is where the color's coming in here. Most of all this is, I actually didn't opt for much transmission, unless I reworked the material. It's mostly absorption. That is interesting. So I did absorb most of this. Now, what I'll say is this is artistic choice. I'm going to go ahead and put this to pure white. So we have no absorption, and here we have like a pure white diamond, right? This is pretty cool. We could do this with our transmission. So this comes down to artistic choice. I'm surprised I didn't use transmission. This is an old scene, so this is good. This is like a demo run, me prepping all for the actual one we're going to record. But yeah, for me, it depends. Now, I will point this out. The difference between transmission and absorption. Transmission is going to be the pure color throughout the entire object. Sorry, I had to cough real quick. That is, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm not quite up to what I fully was before, speaking-wise. But what's so interesting is that transmission is basically where it will absorb color through the entire object. Every bit where light comes through, it's going to be affected. There's no actual absorption. The light doesn't have to absorb into it for that color to take effect. So with here, transmission, this is just the pure color of the entire object. Its thickness, its size, no effect, doesn't matter, don't care at all. If the light goes through this, it gets affected and tinted into this color. Now with absorption, as its name implies, the light is literally absorbed into the object. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Jellyfish. Hello, Habil CM. I hope I get your name correct. How to make a jellyfish in Octane render? Well, let's see. That is a really good, big question. The first thing you would need to do is you'd actually have to have a jellyfish model. So you would definitely need to have a jellyfish first. But if you're trying to create like a jellyfish material, I think that's what that's what the question probably was aimed for. You want to actually create a jellyfish type of material. So to do that, I kind of don't want to deviate from here, but I actually have a jellyfish model. I have literally a jellyfish model from a grayscale gorilla scene. I am so tempted to pull that up. I'm going to give it a quick look. I think I might know where it's at. It has been years since I've used this jellyfish model. I followed, oh, you have a model. Okay, perfect. So you literally just want to texture the jellyfish. Let me see if I can find the jellyfish model I had. I really have not opened that scene file in a very long time. I followed a grayscale gorilla tutorial, and they showed how to do a jellyfish, and I made one. I'm thinking, no, I actually found it. This is literally like 4 years old. Look at this old Cinema 4D render. I followed some grayscale gorilla tutorial on it. This is with the old physical render. Nothing super pretty here. This is such an old render. Could I rework this into Octane? I might be able to. We'll see. I am going to pop it open just to take a peek. Let's just go ahead and see what we got here. I forget all that I was doing with this. This has literally been 4 or 5 years since I've opened this scene. But let's just go ahead and pretend. Here's our basic simple jellyfish model. We'll go ahead and let's see what we can do to make this pretty. So here it is, our default little jellyfish model. Nothing super special. We could do a few cloners. I'm just going to go ahead and leave him like he is, just so we can go ahead and quickly texture this guy. So here's what we're going to go ahead and do. I'm going to figure out what is all the body elements. So we have this. I'm going to keep it all about the same. Jellyfish is definitely, okay, we have the tentacles. We have this. What is these little hair things? Okay, that is an actual hair object. Move this down here. Let's keep all this grouped up. I'm just going to do Alt-G. Okay. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to actually light your scene. So let's go ahead and just make a floor, put it below our jellyfish, and let's go ahead and light our scene and quickly get this rolling. I'm just going to do an Octane Daylight object. I am such a fan of the Octane Daylight object. I'm just going to rotate it down 40 degrees, grab our little light up here. We're going to go ahead and change this to 3, with a sun size of 30, looking nice. Go to our path tracing kernel, already looking better. Let's go ahead and grab a material. I'm going to go ahead and grab a specular material, as you guys probably expected. Excuse me, had to sneeze real quick. Still getting over that cold. But now, I've thrown this specular material in here, and we're already getting an interesting look, but our index value is completely off. And what I think is going to affect this jellyfish mostly is our thickness for the inside of this is just not quite what it should be. So your model's shape and size is going to be affected by it a lot. But here we go. We got something that's interesting. We're going to need a lot more absorption, and Octane's a lot more realistic than Cinema 4D is. So with Cinema 4D, I was able to fake this absorption a lot. But that said, I don't know how well this is going to actually... Oh, is this the tentacle? Okay, there they are. Okay, so I do have them. Good. Let's throw all these into the null too. Very good. And yeah, that's looking a little bit better. I'm not sure how well this is going to turn out because this model was designed to work with Cinema 4D, and Cinema 4D is not as realistic with its absorption values as Octane, but we'll rework the model if we have to. But let's go ahead and just jump in and actually see what we can do with this. So let's go ahead and select our material, hop into here, and what can we do? The first thing we need to do is get some absorption going on. So I'm just going to go to, let's go scattering medium. And we're going to take our scattering medium, plug that into the medium slot. Then we're going to go ahead and grab an RGB spectrum, throw this, whoops, into the absorption port right here. And what I like to do is literally set my color first. Don't even look in the viewport. Set your color here. What type of look would we like to go for our jellyfish? I'm thinking a bluish purple. I'm really thinking a purple. I kind of want to see a purple jellyfish. So set the color here first. I'm thinking I like this purple. Then take our density, and I always, yeah, leave our volume step at that. We'll pull our density back, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. I kind of like this, right? That's not too bad, not too bad there. Next up is our index value, because I'm fairly certain jellyfish isn't going to have an index of 1.333. That's not going to fit. So let's go ahead and crank this up, and I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the index. A jellyfish is like this. Ooh, thin film shader, Glenn. That's a good point. That could be that. This is interesting. This is actually tying in with diamonds very well. We're using a lot of the same principles. I'm gonna actually take a value of 2.5 for index. Though a jellyfish 2.4, 1.45. Let's just go ahead and try that. Something a little bit more than water, a little bit less. And now what we're going to do quickly is we're going to take a float texture, and we're going to plug this into our scattering medium. And I'm fairly certain, I think a jellyfish, let's go ahead and check it out. Jellyfish. Jellyfish. What does a jellyfish look like? Oh, okay, there's lots of different types of jellyfish. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. Boy, what type of jellyfish to go for? There are some weird ones. So we have some really opaque jellyfish, as you can see here. Not very transparent at all. This is not the type of jellyfish I was thinking of making. This is something more so I was aiming for. This is interesting. Okay, so we got a little bit of absorption. We got a little bit of roughness. This should be interesting. Okay. This is very interesting. Let's see how this goes. So what we need to do then to get something a little bit like that, except I want mine to be purple, is what we can do. Thin film, lightning up. Lighting up. Oh, let's see. Which jellyfish were you going for? Is it... want to make sure I'm texturing the correct jellyfish, the one that you're after. Could you go ahead, I'm going to paste the link in, pick the jellyfish that you're after and post a link to it in chat. I think that should work. I don't know if I ever got the linking working, actually. YouTube needs to get that kind of figured out. There's literally no option to allow viewers to link in chat, which is really annoying, actually. It makes things quite difficult. I'm thinking... Let's see, try and type the name of the jellyfish picture at least, like something like that. I don't know, try and link to that way. I'm going to go ahead and throw this over here. And yeah, we'll just throw that over there. And what we can do, though, quickly, is I just want to take our float texture. We're getting a little bit of absorption. That's great. You could add Nightbot. Nightbot. I am not actually sure, but upon what is Nightbot? I've never heard of that before. I'm I'm relatively new to streaming. I don't do it too much, so that's probably something to do with streaming. I'm not exactly sure what that does. Let's see. We take our scattering medium, we pull that up a little bit. We have a little bit of absorption going on. Next up is totally some roughness, because that is, I'll do this a lot. I'll actually take my roughness value and mix that in. I think this is roughness. Yep, oh, and I got reflection. I actually take my float texture for my scattering and mix that into roughness, and then I use these values and I adjust them part of each other, so I can literally get, and you can see this is actually bugging out right here. Let's go ahead and refresh that scene. There we go. And we'll just kind of up this up a little bit. Maybe we'll do like something like 0.1. There we go. We're getting a little bit of absorption, a little bit of roughness. Jellyfish are really transparent. It's very interesting. And I think to get the jellyfish looking correct, I'm going to need to hit play and let these things kind of blow around. I think they're blowing. Are they kind of moving? The hair's kind of blowing. It's creating an interesting effect. This looks like some type of... Nightbot is a chat bot for Twitch and YouTube that allows you to automate your live streams chat with moderation and new features. Oh, dang, Bitupon. Thank you for letting me know about that. I'm definitely going to have to look into that. I need to get Nightbot, because that would make things a lot easier. That is good to know. I'm definitely going to have to check that out. What we're looking at here for jellyfish is... I'm thinking this is the biggest thing that kind of comes to my mind when I think of jellyfish, like something really transparent. So I'm thinking, or even this, which quite honestly, these are really not that complicated. This particular type of jellyfish, I think we could actually do fairly easy, but I don't have the model set up. So we're focusing on the texturing aspect, though. I got to remember that. You already have a model. You're just focusing on the texturing aspect. So what you're really going to want to do is you're really going to want to use a pretty transparent material. Let's go ahead and drop our absorption down quite a bit. The roughness value, I'm not seeing too much going on at that at all, so I'm going to pull this back even more. Jellyfish, yeah, feels pretty transparent. We'll put this to 0.01. I'm liking that. Okay, and we'll take our absorption. So the key is really, let's just keep down to the principles of this, is that you're going to want to kind of manage a little bit of absorption, tint in that color you want, add a little bit of roughness, add a little bit of that, and now there's some elements going on here. Like we have this really, really kind of advanced model. So this is not going to look so good because your model is going to matter a lot with a jellyfish. And the reason for this is because a jellyfish is going to literally be so transparent that a lot of its refraction and absorption is going to be entirely independent based on the model. Yes, this one. Okay, perfect. I am looking at the right jellyfish. That is nice. You can add custom commands through Nightbot. Imagine someone wants your YouTube channel link. The person who is looking for your YouTube channel link, he or she have to type YouTube in. Oh, wow. I did not know that. Thank you so much, Bitupon. I am totally going to have to check that out. I definitely need to get that hooked up. That's something I should totally have hooked up before. Another thing is this is actually a harmless species of jellyfish. I had no clue. So apparently this jellyfish is actually safe to touch. Apparently that's cool. So maybe it's like a aquarium or something. But anyway, this little ugly thing right here needs some work. So before I forget, notice how, and I'm just trying to cover the basics here really quick. Notice how we have these really bright highlights. That's what we're really kind of missing, right? We have these bright highlights. And again, you're going to have a nice clean model. See how the top of this jellyfish looks so simple and bland as opposed to this one? Why is this? This jellyfish has a lot of models going on to it, or a lot of modeling. It is a real jellyfish. They didn't really model it, but it's got a lot of detail. See how along these little fins down here, there's like little pieces missing. There's these little tiny strands going off. It has these little veins kind of going through it up here. It's differently shaped. So again, the shape of your model is so important to get this to go off correctly. Now my jellyfish is too perfect. I need to get some modeling going on in here. What I need to do too is I need to thicken up the inside of the mesh. That would help a lot actually if I just did N+B. I literally think this whole thing is a cloth surface. Is it really? Okay. So literally all I have to do is just thicken it up, and that will help a lot. So I can literally just thicken up the whole top of the jellyfish. And another problem, I believe, I don't know for certain. I'm going to go ahead and press C, make this editable. close this, do Control A, and I'm going to see if what I'm afraid of has happened. Let's do Control A. Why isn't that working? Oh, I'm selecting the wrong thing. Cloth surface jelly, Control A. Okay, good, good. We got this, and we have blue and blue. Okay, so it is the correct position. Good, good, good. Our normals are all correct. Very nice. We're going to go ahead and make that back to solid object. And we'll just go ahead and type in a value of, say, like 50 for the thickness. So we got a little bit of that going on. I could add a displacer on top. Or search for a jellyfish model on Google. Yes, search for a jellyfish model to Google. Kind of look up something like that. Maybe looking up jellyfish on Wikipedia or something would help when it comes to shading one. Weird creatures, they absolutely are. Yeah, definitely make sure you have a good model. So getting a good model is a key part. But just to make sure I hit home on all the key aspects, is you're going to want to first focus on getting your absorption. Get it the color that you want it to be. So say I want a purple one, or say I want a blue one. Maybe we'll go for like a teal green bluish one. I kind of like that. Yeah, like a really interesting sea jellyfish. Then what you're going to do is you're going to set your absorption. So you're going to absorb that jellyfish down to that color that you're after. So here's something interesting, right? We're going to absorb in here a little bit. I'm literally just going to go ahead and grab a displacer. I'm going to cheap out on this. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a displacer, throw this underneath the displacer, take our displacer, add a little bit of noise, take our noise, clip it here and there, go out of it, go to object, and literally I forgot I have to throw the displacer underneath the cloth surface and go back over here. Or actually, would it work? I don't think it works like this. No. What I actually do as a hack is I'll take the displacer, throw it in the null, and then I'm going to literally take cloth object, pull it out so it's part of it, and now it's a child of that. Now I can literally take our displacer and drop our value down to, say, 1, and up it a little bit. There we go. I'm literally cheesing out here. Intensity centered, vertex normal. We're just getting a little bit of imperfections. Hop back into our shading, throw it under here. Take our value, say 500%. Keep up the great work, man. Thank you, Elias Fox. Glad to have you in chat. Thanks, bro. I'm really looking for, yeah, perfect. Glad to help you out, man. No problem, Habil. Definitely happy to help out. So I'm just going to, and you don't have to make your jellyfish model like mine. In fact, I encourage you not to. I'm just trying to quickly get something that actually is a decent mesh. Let's see, 800%. There we go. Just get something. So again, the key concepts you're wanting to aim for. Take your color, select the color, set your absorption. Do this in step-by-step order. This is how I definitely like to do it. Say like 25. Then set your roughness and scattering values, right? Set those to whatever you'd like them to be. So for me, it's just a little bit. Now, you could have a more dense jellyfish, right? You could be going for like a much higher value. Or that's looking kind of like a gumdrop here. Some of those jellyfish actually are similar to gumdrops, though. We're not really particularly, but like this jellyfish here, look how much scattering and absorption is going on this. And it's at different spots. It's so unique, and it's a very cool, interesting model. Like this jellyfish here. Now, you're going to actually want to have some other type of way of controlling the color of the jellyfish besides absorption. You're actually going to literally want to probably make like something like a blend material or a mixed material and mix between two different material types with different levels of absorption. See, like on the rim here, it's really small, but it's absorbed really dark here, where here it's really big, and this is where it should be absorbing more, but it's not. It's actually just entirely different. This one, I'm pretty sure, is a jellyfish that would sting you and would hurt you. So avoid this one. I'm very certain that this is something, usually if it's in the ocean, it's big, colorful, and pretty, do not touch it. This thing looks like it would be very dangerous, so do not touch this jellyfish. Not recommend him. Now, this little one here, though, what I'd actually recommend now that I'm back on track, I keep getting off track, is to get this like bright highlights you're getting here with these little veins kind of stuff. This is actually easy. You're also going to want to mix texture for this. Is you're literally going to take this emission port down here, and you are going to take a black body emission and literally plug that into the emission slot here, and literally you can adjust the color and how bright it is. So we're going to go ahead and make a nice blue color. We're going to kind of pump this value up, and you could pull it down, and you're getting like this real bright value on the jellyfish. What we want to do is we're going to want to kind of pull this up, and there's so many ways. It's all going to come down to actually separating this value inside the jellyfish. So I think I could just throw a noise. I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to take a noise, throw that on the texture, use UV projection. Yep, pull this down here. Take the noise, yeah, and just slap our contrast up. I think it's working. I think it's working. What is with our gamma? Is our gamma? Okay, good. I'm going to pull our gamma back a little bit. Here we go. We have a little bit of light coming through, a little bit of patches. Up our octaves. I don't know. I think I need to put it into distribution. I forget. The big problem is what, and yeah, this is an issue with this particular effect. See, what I'm trying to do is to distribute the light. Can I get this tutorial offline also? You might be able to download this tutorial or this stream. This stream is recorded, so after it's done, you can always check back later and kind of take a look at it. But I don't know if you could get it offline. There is a way to rip YouTube videos and download them, so you could look into that. You could rip it down possibly. I definitely would check that out. So yeah, you kind of could get this offline in a way. But even if this stream's over, you can still watch it if that's what you're meaning. So that is still definitely going to be available. But I'm gonna blow my nose real quick because I'm still suffering from a cold. Alrighty, I am back. Sorry about that, guys. Getting over a cold is no fun. So what are we having here? This is the issue. We cannot separate the light from that we're getting here from this black body emission, separating it from areas that don't have the black body emission. Why is this? This is because we cannot set a distribution or texture from a noise like this. Now, I think I know of a hack. I haven't tried this yet. We could hack this, but again, it's not the best way to do it. We could literally take a baking texture node, slap this into the texture right there. This might work, maybe, possibly. I think it worked. I actually think it did. Did it? It might have. I think. No, I don't think it is. I really don't think this is going to work. Yeah. So the way you actually work with this and manage the setup, I am tempted to start over. Oh, yeah. I have a really good idea. Let's start over. What we're going to do, sorry about that, guys. What we're going to do, oh, there's a link in chat. Glenn there, new feature. What's this? Why do jellyfish glow? Oh, cool. It's like a whole article. Definitely check this out, guys. It's like an article on why do jellyfish glow. That's really interesting. I'm going to have to check this out. So definitely look into that, guy. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that. Glenn, thank you for that, Glenn. Glenn Dyer. Thank you very much for sharing that link. That is interesting. But for a jellyfish, here's what we're going to do to simplify this. All we have to do is go to materials. We're going to make an octane blend material. So make octane blend, take this material, throw it on the null for everything up here. Close this down, go ahead and go to the Octane node editor over here, select our Octane blend material. What we're going to do is we're going to have two material inputs. We're not going to do 3 or 4, we're just going to do 2. Material 1, let's go ahead and add this material. This will be our basic material. So I'm going to go ahead and add ourselves another scattering medium. Take this right here. We're going to plug this into, we also have to set the material type. So select our submaterial 1, the one we just made, go to basic, change it from a glossy to a specular. Now select our scattering medium, plug this into the medium slot. Grab ourselves an RGB spectrum. Here it is up here. Take this, plug this into the absorption, and now we need to decide colors. For me, I'm feeling pretty much like a nice sea greenish blue will be our base. Take our scattering medium, pull it back, so we'll do kind of like this weird kind of water look. I'm liking that there. Next up, we can grab our float texture. Take this here, throw this into scattering, and I'm actually, yeah, we could take some dirt. So let's go ahead and take this and grab this. You know, I think I'm going to do the roughness and scattering separate. We'll do like 1. No, 1's way too much. We'll do like 0.4. Yeah, 0.4, and we'll give a little bit of roughness. I'm talking 0.01 roughness, like such a tiny amount. And now that we have this, literally what we're going to do is we're going to copy this entire material setup, grabbing it, left control, pull it in, and now we'll take this entire setup and plug this underneath input 2. And now for input 2, we have the exact same thing except for the RGB spectrum. Now we're going to set it to like a greenish color, something like that. I'm going to go to our main one right here, go to matte 2, set its mix amount to 1, so now we're fading to the second material here. And then what we're going to do is now we have our green, so we take our RGB spectrum. What color? It was kind of like a reddish yellow. Yeah, this would be cool. We'll do like a reddish yellow. Let's do some contrast with that. And now we have this value. So now let's go ahead and mix these two values together. So literally all I have to do is just take a noise right here, plug this into the amount slot, and now you can instantly see it's happening already. But what I'm going to do is change this projection mode to texture projection and set this to XYZ to VUVW. Then what I'm going to do is go to our noise and crank up our contrast, and now you can see the effect happening, but it is way, way too small. So let's go ahead and select our texture projection node, go to lock aspect ratio, scale it up quite a bit. I'm wanting something very unique for our jellyfish, right? We're just going to have different levels of absorption. Now, this is a hard level of difference. We're having this red absorption, and then we're getting this blue absorption, and it's kind of all messy. That's not what jellyfish look like, right? So let's take our contrast back now, and let's take our octaves, crank that up to max. I will take our contrast back up, and let's just go ahead and blend these other. Let's do like a value of 0.8, really getting something nice there. Pull this back. Oh, that's looking good. So now we're getting this kind of nice variation in there. And now you can see we're getting these different colors, these different values. I think I'm going to take our octaves back maybe to 0.5. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Take our contrast back maybe to say 20, maybe 15. Yeah, I'm kind of liking 15. Now, what we have the power to do is for the scattering medium down here, we're going to go ahead and grab a black body emission and plug this into this spot here. And now, if I pull this back quite substantially, right, we're getting a little bit more. A little bit goes a long way, and I might make this blue. You know, we could have some white veins. There's so many ways to work this. If we painted this on, if I ran this through a dirt node even, oh, that would be cool. But first off, here we go. We have different areas. We're actually emitting light from here. So the effect, just like Glenn posted in there, why did jellyfish emit light? I'm not really sure why they do because I haven't read the article yet. But see the light that they're emitting here? We can actually fake this, or I think they might actually be literally emitting light, or are they just taking light that's absorbed and re-refracting it? They might be just doing that. But either way, we can achieve this bright effect by literally just emitting light from using this black body emission only through these spots right here. So I can take this noise and I could literally say, okay, we're going to go ahead and really up the contrast. And I could take our gamma and I could just warp through this. Something kind of like here. Too much contrast. Ah, man, this is interesting. I could pull this back, and now what we could do is we can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this. If I take our texture projection amount, grab this, we could literally scale on X, Y. Yeah, keep our Y up, scale this down, scale this up, and I think if I take our noise, crank our contrast to the top again, and hop back in our texture projection, up this, pull this back, get kind of a feel for it. Yeah, here we go. Pull this back, or I could pull this forward. Yeah, and now you can get like these really stretched, kind of interesting looks. Now, if I pull this forward, what do we get here? Yeah, we get like these tiger stripes. So now you're getting like these weird tiger stripe jellyfish. That's emitting light. And what's really cool is we could just completely disconnect this. I could grab myself a dirt node. Where is dirt? Here it is, dirt node. Take the dirt node instead and plug this into the amount slot between those two materials, and then take the strength up to 10, and then increase the amount quite substantially. And tolerance, I'm getting an effect, but it's not quite what I'm after. I'm going to invert it. Oh, yep, inverting it helped a lot. So now we'll pull the radius up, and the dirt effect is not quite working out as I wanted. The mesh just is not dense enough. If I take our displacer up to say something like 20, Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting some like really kind of interestingly warped jellyfish. Let's pull up details. Yeah, here we go. That's kind of allowing that to show through a little bit more. So with the dirt node, you can actually literally, yeah, you can literally get this effect to show up pretty interesting. Yeah, like you get a little bit of that, a little bit of this. So dirt node's possible. I would actually recommend getting a right value and something correct is I would actually paint this, probably in Substance Painter. I would get a really good jellyfish model and paint it in a way. Now, you don't have to use Substance Painter. You might not have Substance Painter, and that's okay, because if you don't, you can paint it in in body paint in Cinema 4D, or even easier, we could actually take this even another way. I'm just showing you all the different ways you could probably potentially mix these colors together. You could even, you would have to make it editable. So let's press C, make this editable, hop into this right here, select our mesh, and literally we're just going to go ahead and go to here, go to here. I'm just going to grab my live selection tool, go to live selection, only select visible elements on, and we're just going to literally paint a few stripes on this jellyfish. Oh yeah, actually this is going to look cool. We could paint like a stripe here. We could paint some stripes into here. And I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. So what we're going to do is literally you can take these selections of like the jellyfish here. I'm just going to do a quick one. And literally you take those selections, and what we can literally do with it is we can go ahead and do, let's go actually back to our view, take the selection, select the jellyfish. We're going to do select right up here. We're going to do select, set vertex weight, and we'll do say 100%. And now I have a vertex weight painted in here. And now what we can actually do with this vertex weight, I think I can actually, yeah, I can take this vertex weight, literally go into Octane and add ourselves a vertex tag. And that is way down here under the Cinema 4D shaders. And this here is a vertex map. Plug this into the amount, select our vertex map, drag in this vertex weight tag into this slot. And now literally we are painting, literally by hand, this jellyfish color in through this vertex tag. So I can literally double click this vertex tag and literally start painting it. And I can start doing this by hand, and notice it's just showing up live here. So you can really, like without anything else, live in Octane Render and in Cinema 4D, we are painting in some color. So say, okay, I'm just going to be really rough with this. We're going to paint down here. We're going to get some of that color. Paint in here. We'll do little streaks and stripes. Now again, our resolution is heavily dependent by how many polygons we have. But that said, it's pretty cool still. We're getting a lot of control with this. Fall off. Ooh, a fall off node. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting, actually. Oh, and speaking of fall off, notice how tight this is looking here, or not tight. Look how hard, like soft it falls off at. Like say you don't want it to have such a nice feathering off, right, on the colors. You can up the resolution of your polys too and get like a more dense, sharper paint, but then that just makes your scene so much heavier. So what I literally like to do is just literally take a gradient object. Let's just go ahead and grab a gradient, throw this here in the middle. It already grabbed it. Excellent. And literally I'll just pull these values together. And now literally we're getting a perfect little block. So it'll do perfect streaks and stripes and stuff. And you can literally get all kinds of stuff. So with this gradient, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, soften it. I can pull another color into here, and we're going to say, okay, we're going to do, what color? We do black? Yeah, we'll do black. Oh, here I know what we could do. We could do really interesting stuff. We're going to go grab here. We're going to grab a black color. And we're going to grab a white color. And then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go do duplicate knots. And now we're getting this really interesting effect. I think if I invert it, yeah, there you go. You can get like this kind of tiger stripe effect. I think it was supposed to go, yeah, they needed to be, I'm just going to right click distribute knots. There we go. Now they're properly distributed. And now we're getting like this interesting kind of tiger pattern. And now wherever I paint on this object, we're getting this kind of like tiger striped kind of effect, which is really, really cool. It's very interesting. So we could like do something a little bit here. Another type of kind of stripe effect going on here. It's just amazing how these gradients will kind of read it. And then we're getting like these really interesting patterns. So again, you can get all kinds of crazy looks, and you don't have to paint it on the outside, right? Let's go ahead, select this whole thing. I'm just going to do vertex map. Let's do apply all. I think that'll work. Yeah, what do I have to do? I think I have to select this, go to polygons, Control A. Yeah, go to here, go to my jellyfish, do Control A, select the vertex map, do select, set vertex weight. We'll do 0%, just so we can erase it all, open it back up, and now we can literally paint inside the jellyfish. I'm going to say paint in here, and we'll paint like little stripes inside so we can get like those veins. You can do all kinds of different vein effects like that. And now from here, 1 second. So what we need here is, sorry guys, I'm back, is now that we're painting inside the jellyfish, let's go ahead and get that going again. I'm going to paint a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit around this part here, and it should work actually. Yeah, we paint in here and here. So now we got these colors, we got the absorption. I think in theory, though, technically we're painting the back side of a polygon. Oh, it is working, but our refraction is so heavy, it's literally warping everything. And I almost wonder, getting the refraction index of a jellyfish, that is going to be key, actually. Whoops, I'm going to close that. Looks cool. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. It's a work in progress, that's for sure. It is a definite work in progress. This is something I wasn't particularly planned for. You can also invert it at any time. It's not exactly a thing of beauty, but I think our index value is really what's throwing things off. So if I go ahead and grab this one, take our index, what if I pull this way back? So if I do a value of 0, or sorry, 1, let's do 1.1. Jellyfish are so close to being transparent. Thanos, welcome, dude. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the chat. Nice to see you. High level. Thank you, Ramental. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. High level content. Yeah, yeah. This isn't exactly the most beautiful thing ever made. What was I gonna say? But yeah, I forget. Yes, Habil. For your good model, hopefully it'll look better than mine. Those are the techniques you want to aim for. You want to go for absorption, get your index values correct, make sure they're right. Then take your Octane blend material, have those 2 colors of the jellyfish, or 3 or 4. You have as many colors as you want, and then blend in between those colors any way you'd like. You could do it with a gradient. You could use a vertex map. You could use painting. You could do noise. You could use a dirt node. You could use a fall off node. Use those concepts to build those different levels. And for different areas where you want more light or less light, you can control that from there as well. So again, you have a lot of potential control with this. So again, I could paint a little bit here. And again, you can emit light, use gradients and stuff to change the fall off of that. Take this gradient, add some knots in here to change that. We could duplicate these knots again, and we could right click and redistribute them again. And again, you just create these really weird streaky patterns. And again, take a black body emission, throw that in there, and then you can create that really bright look there. And we could go ahead and say, hey, I don't want to have any color like this at all. No absorption. This will be like white. Now we got this white kind of blue streak going on. So again, that is kind of what you're going to want to aim for. But this that's about as far as I'm probably going to take this, just because we do need to bring the focus back onto the diamonds, because I do want to make sure I get that. But I really hope that helped answer some of your questions, Habil. I really hope that helped you out there, because jellyfish are tricky things, and it's really heavily dependent on having a good model. And what I had there, that wasn't exactly the best model to be working with. But that said, you could also add a little bit of dispersion to the jellyfish as well, like we have with the diamond here. Big fan of the diamond. So again, though, let's go ahead and start setting up our diamond scene. So my goal is I want to really kind of practice, just for everybody who might be new in chat. What I'm trying to do is take the videos I have for my Octane Master Course, and then take these diamonds and make a video in the Octane Master Course teaching students how to take everything they've learned so far and put it together in a real-world example and make something that's actually pretty. So our goal is to take everything we learned, such as about refraction, absorption, transmission, all those different things, and mix them together with this diamond kind of scene setup here. So let's go ahead and start by actually making a diamond scene from scratch. I can also use PNG. Absolutely, you could totally use a PNG image on the jellyfish. That's actually a really good idea, using some type of interesting PNG image, run that into the mix. Totally would recommend that, actually. That would be an interesting idea. Yeah, let's take in like a really cool picture or something, running that in for the jellyfish, because again, you're dealing with a lot of these streaks and stuff here. You're probably going to run, yeah, that would be interesting. Notice the streaks are on the inside. So these particular veins and this roughness, again, this is going to be so much level of variation. And quite honestly, to get a really good jellyfish like that, you're going to do some type of mixing of materials. It would be easy in Substance Painter. I'd literally just go in and paint some streaks here, smooth this out, get all that going there, get like a nice black and white map just to rotate that. You will 100% have to use you're gonna have to use a blend material or something to blend between two types. So we're gonna have a really rough material here with like light emitting from it, and then you're gonna mix to like this there's really not much refraction going on here at all. There's like no refraction, next to none. These jellyfish are really weird creatures. They're quite unusual. So, but again, yeah, that's the basic concept. There's an image in that link of a more thin film jellyfish in prismatic type. Look at the edges like your diamond. Really? That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. That is very, very interesting. So oh yeah, you're right. Look at this jellyfish. Yeah, we're looking like at this is definitely a lot more like a diamond. This is a much more simple jellyfish body too. So yeah, we're just looking, we can easily make some emission from that. These streaks in here, I would actually be tempted to actually model that literally with splines and have those same splines shoot off down to here. And literally within that jellyfish model, just have those splines. You could do like a little cylinder in here, warp it. It's a simple body. It's a very interesting, simple body for this jellyfish, but it looks so pretty. That is amazing. That is really cool. So definitely, thanks for pointing that out, Glenn. Thank you for pointing that out. But I think that really that's the concept I think I would aim for the jellyfish. I would definitely kind of aim for something kind of like that. Just use that same technique, same process, and that should get you something pretty decent. But if you're having problems, though, definitely message me, hit me up on YouTube or something, and I'll try and help walk you through it a little bit more, because today was a little bit of a fail. My jellyfish model was pretty messy. I'm going to have to work on that a little bit. I haven't worked on a jellyfish model in probably like 5 years, so I'm a little out of practice on that one. But now that we have all this going, let's go ahead and get the diamonds rolling. So what we're going to do quickly is I'm just going to take one diamond model. I'm going to take our bevel. Yeah. Take the diamond model, and let's just go ahead and delete everything. So we're going to start from scratch. I'm just going to do a practice run through, just like I would be doing for the tutorial that's going to be coming up, showing people how to make a pretty scene with like this basic diamond we have here. So here is our diamond model. I'm going to go ahead and remove that, remove this. So to get a diamond model like this, and again, just like with the jellyfish, it's really important that your shape and model of your diamond is correct for it to work. You just can't slap a diamond texture. I'm actually going to back up, see if I can undelete that. You can't just slap a diamond texture on, I'm going to back up a bit more, see if I can get our scene back together. You literally can't slap a diamond texture onto just anything and have it look good. Like that pretty diamond I had there, if I slap that onto this sphere here, it's not going to look too good. And you can see it just kind of like, well, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's going to be kind of like, that doesn't look like a diamond. That's interesting. So getting all those lights and the refraction and the color, that all comes down to getting a correct correct shape for your diamond. So literally hard edges are your friend. So if I take this sphere down, cut it down to 3, and take the phong angle and draw and crank that way down to the bottom, basically, and get rid of the smoothing. And I can actually do that even more by double-clicking the material, go to Common, uncheck Smooth, and that will disable the phong tag. And now I have like a really hard edge, and this is going to create a much more sharp kind of diamond-like effect. Now what's even cooler is I could open up the material, and I could go to Common and check on rounded edges and literally type up, or not check on, but just type in, we'll say a value of like 5. And now we're getting like these fake kind of beveled edges on our diamond. Maybe we'll do a value of 3. Yeah, something kind of like that. So again, though, having like a hard-edged angle or something on this is really what sells this effect. So let's go ahead and delete all this again. Let's go ahead and dump all these and remove this and take that off and bring this back. So again, getting a proper diamond model is important. Now, if you want to make a diamond model, they're really not that hard to make. There's so many tutorials out. Just look up modeling diamond in Cinema 4D. If you have the Octane Master Course, though, I'll be giving you this diamond model here for free, so you'll have access to it. And yep, won't have to worry about that. You'll literally just get access to it for free, and you'll be able to follow along perfectly. But that video is not quite out yet, so this is like a little kind of demo run of that. So the first thing we need to do to make this look pretty is we need to actually get a scene going. So let's make an infinite floor object. We'll just go ahead, grab here an Octane HDRI. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead with an Octane daylight object, actually. It's always easier. We'll start with that simple and then work our way up. So we'll do minus 40 degrees. Select this again, torpidity 3, sun size 30. Path tracing kernel is a go. Excellent. And now, literally, all we have to do is just go to materials, and I'm just going to use an Octane specular material, put this on the diamond right here. And now, unchecking smooth in common is same as removing phong tag. Didn't know that. Thanks. No problem, Thanos. Yeah, unchecking smooth in the material. So if you open this material up, go to common, take smooth. Very sorry, still getting over a cold. Take smooth and uncheck that. Literally, this is the same thing as removing the phong tag from the diamond. So I could actually turn this back on. Where is phong tag? It's under Cinema 4D tags phong. So let's go ahead and enable this back on. And you can see my diamond is ruined, right? This is looking really weird with that phong tag. It's smoothed it out so much. It is not working really well, right? Now, I could take this phong tag and delete it. Let's go ahead and try that. And voila, it's been fixed. But instead of doing that, maybe I want to keep my phong tag, right? Let's go ahead and undo. That was a bummer. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and close this. So, phong tag off, right? It's been fixed. And apparently it keeps enabling it. Oh, this is a bug. If Octane's running, you have to literally turn Octane off, delete it, then hit refresh, and now the phong tag will be gone. So I'm just going to go ahead and right-click, and the phong tag should be back now. Perfect. So phong tag, angle limit, none. It's working, right? Tons of phong. And instead of deleting the phong tag, I just sort of take smooth, uncheck it, and boom, phong tag disabled. So phong tag on, phong tag off. Very handy. So now that we have that done, the next process for the diamond texture is we literally need to just pick our index value. So I like to go to our index, and you can actually look up, I think it's 2.145. I think. I might be wrong on that, actually. Let me check. Very sorry. Hey everybody, I am back. So sorry about that. Had a cough attack. Had to get some water real quick. But now, I am back. So, I don't know how much longer I can go, actually. I'm starting to lose my voice. So, apparently I might not have... Shouldn't have probably done a stream so soon after my cold. But, does typology make any difference in texturing, especially reflections, quads, triangles, and the same mesh, etc.? Yes, absolutely they do, but in a different way than you'd expect. Now, they don't particularly matter if you make a quad versus a triangle, right? It won't particularly have an effect, like say right here, like right here on the top of my diamond. I'm actually going to really quickly fix what's going on right here, and this is because of our specular depth. Yeah, let's take our specular depth way up. Now, my refraction index is completely incorrect for this. But I just go ahead, those little black spots we're getting here is because we're refracting within itself so many times it's actually just dying off. Our maximum depth is 14, so I'm just going to put this to 100. And that will fix it up quite nice. Just for sake, though, of example, here we have a quad. Very nice quad. Let's do KL, or KK, sorry. KK, yeah, I think it's KK. And we'll do just a single cut right here. Notice we have no effect, even though we did the cut, right? We don't see anything going on here. There's no difference, right? We will only see a difference if we make a quad into a triangle and then bend it. So, like, I have to create actual deformations. Now we're seeing an effect here, right? So see a difference. Quad, triangle, no effect. It's only once you've actually made the deformation. So it's the angle that the light is bent based off of that mesh shape. So if I do make a cut and move it, then we'll see a difference, but it's only then. So triangles and quads do matter, but only so they give you actually the abilities. Do you take any remedies? No, I'm not taking any medication or anything for my cough. It's kind of just like a little kind of head cold I got about a week ago. It just kind of slowly leaving me. I'm definitely a lot better than I was before. I couldn't really talk much at all. So definitely getting better. It's just taking a little bit to kind of fully go away. Definitely an annoying thing. It's kind of the downsides of winter when it starts to come around. But that was a really good question, bit upon, hey, don't lose your voice over a CG diamond. Thanos, nice. Yeah, I totally agree with on that. Definitely a smart move. I'm doing better now that I got some water, though, so I think I should be okay. Thank you, guys, though. Appreciate that. What we have now, though, with the diamond is, again, bit upon, that was a great question, actually. Does typology affect it? And absolutely it does, but only if you put it to use. So, again, quads versus triangles won't give you any of effect unless you make that kind of bend or move. But having tris or having quads in certain areas will affect it. Like right here, having a triangle was really important because it gives me this really nice triangle effect once I make the bends and move the polygons in a certain way. So pretty cool. Now on top of this, on top of the diamond, I could literally lift this up, and now we have this really kind of cool kind of diamond pattern on top. Or I could leave it flat, right? And it looks great. I don't see anything really going on, but I could pull down. And now look what I'm getting in here. All this really interesting kind of geometry. And to help kind of bring this alive, we should actually set some color. I'm going to look up the index of a diamond real quick. Let's see what that is. Diamond index of refraction. There it is. Diamond index of refraction. Diamond 2.417. I just looked this up on Google. Diamond index of refraction has some rare minerals here, and this is the one we're going for. So what we're going to do is we'll just take that value, punch this in here. There we go. That's a proper index for a diamond. And now with our diamond here, I can go ahead and grab ourselves a scattering medium. Plug that into the medium slot right here. Go ahead and... Do I want to use absorption? I kind of want to try. I did absorption before on the diamond because I kind of like it almost like it's absorbing down a little bit. It's kind of cool of effect. Let's do a little bit of a blue. And we got our medium, and now we need to pull this back a lot, right? And one thing I will say about the absorption is nice is you can, if you are getting too much depth in your reflections, upping your absorption will kill them off. See, as I go higher and higher, we get a simpler and simpler diamond. Like, I go really high, we have a very basic looking diamond. But I go way down the bottom, we have a reflection within a reflection within a reflection. So much going on in there. As I up this, though, higher and higher, we start to kill off that depth because that light starts to absorb. So absorption is a powerful tool that can be very useful. So definitely a handy feature to use. I'm going to say, yeah, kind of liking this here. Very nice right here. Liking that, liking that. And now that we have that, we need dispersion. So let's go ahead and middle mouse click back into here. I'm thinking, oh, here's a big thing I want to point out. If you guys ever have this issue, this is so annoying, and I've had it happen a few times to me. Did you take any? Thanks for explaining. No problem. Definitely happy to explain that. Right now, I'm pulling up on my mouse. See how it's going up and it's going down. My screen has literally been inverted. This is because the camera that I'm actually, this is really cool that this happened actually. This is something I've been wanting to do a tutorial on. This has happened because my view camera has been accidentally flipped 180 when I was inside the diamond. It's like a bug with Cinema 4D. It thinks my camera's been flipped. So here's how you fix it. You literally do Shift plus V on your keyboard. You want to go to Viewport Perspective. And literally what you want to go to do is you want to go to back, or is it view? Yeah, you want to select view. And then here is your camera. Now, what is this camera, you might be wondering? What is this camera? This is actually the viewport camera. This is the camera you're looking through when you're not actually looking through another camera. So if I make a camera and hop in this camera, everything's great, right? Go down, it kind of goes, and I go up, everything looks and moves correctly. I pull down, it pulls the camera like this, and I pull up, and it pulls like that, just like you'd be used to. I hop out, though, I'm in the default camera. Now I pull down, I go down, and go up. It's been inverted because the camera has been spun 180 degrees around. How do I fix this? Literally, all you have to do, Shift plus V, select View, twirl down this camera. Now we have controls of it. Go to coordinates, and lo and behold, here is some rotation values. If I right-click this value, zero it out, it has now been fixed. So now I can spin myself around, and it is now working like it should. So notice everything, or actually it's still offset. I have to zero out every value. So 0, 0, and oh, this was the one. Here it is, the B value. Right-click that, and now everything is correct. So notice, this value, it's okay for these numbers to change, right? But it's this value here. When I start to do this, the things get weird, right? So we make sure that these are all zeroed out, and you're good to go. So that is a quick fix if that ever happens to you in the viewport. You don't have to make a new scene. Just go ahead and do Shift plus V. So the Shift key, hold it down, then press V. Brings you to the viewport perspective mode. Select View, Coordinates, and twirl these to 0. So, and all you have to do that as your rotation. Your position doesn't matter at all. So, quick fix for that if you guys ever bump into anything like that. But now that we have our diamond set up, let's go ahead and quickly go back to it's in the node editor. I'm going to go ahead and take our scattering and just literally set this to a value of 1. I kind of want to change the color maybe a little green. Ooh, I like that. Next up, we take our transmission value. What could we do for transmission? Let's hit our, actually, yeah, let's do some transmission. Maybe we should do transmission. Maybe we'll just kind of leave that. I'm going to go ahead and grab ourselves a float, add a little bit of scattering to it. Just, I mean a little bit, 0.01. Tiny, tiny bit. And a little bit of roughness, because there is going to be roughness, but it's going to be a tiny bit. I'm talking 0.001, so very little bit. And now finally for the dispersion. So for our dispersion, I'm going to do 0.044, and that should be the correct amount of dispersion for a diamond. I've looked it up before, and I'm pretty sure that is the value. And now we're getting that kind of nice effect going on there. Now, to take this even further, I'm actually going to make an HDRI environment. And now with our HDRI environment, I'm going to select it. Right-click, grab HDRI link, go into it, select this HDRI I want, relink this in again. Simple setup here. Throw that on there. Go ahead and refresh. It's not going to show up because we have to go to Octane Daylight, change this to Mix Sky Texture. When I do this, we're going to have our sky sun, but now we're mixing that in with the background HDRI, and I'm going to do Important Sampling On to help fix up some of those fireflies we might get on the floor. And now we have this HDRI here that I can rotate now. Rotate this on X, get our nice reflections going, make everything nice, but we're getting the sun and everything else in our scene from this right here. So again, we're getting these really good reflections on here. The floor is just a little too bright. So I might take our brightness back a little bit, take our power back, something maybe like 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 is pretty nice, and I can just take this. Let's go ahead and just check this out. Next up is render settings. What am I going to use? I'm going to go ahead and just set my user preset, just to reset everything. I like to have, let's go ahead and see how bad. Yeah, it's getting a little too dark in those reflections. So take our specular depth, maybe up it to something like 50. That should be nice enough. I like to have our GI clamp at something like 50 for a diamond. That's not bad. Next up is I like to have coherent ratio on a little bit. Now this can cause flickering for animations, but it is a nice little check David Andrew jellyfish at the beginning. Oh yeah, definitely check that out. I haven't checked out Aru, not Andrew. I always call him Andrew. Aru. I need to pronounce his last name. Definitely check out David Aru's jellyfish at the beginning. He does some good stuff. I didn't know he did a jellyfish before, but I'm pretty sure he has. He's a really good artist. So he's made some pretty nice stuff. Now that we have the little diamond look right here, take our coherent ratio, type in something like 0.1 just to clean that up. Just this is all about improving render speed. So parallel samples, max this. This will increase your render speed, which is pretty interesting. Whoops, thank you, Bitapon, for pointing that out. Microphone is muted. Oh my goodness, this is not, I need to watch that. Definitely need to watch that. Yeah, that's being tricky for me. Yeah, not my best stream so far. This cold is slowing things down. But thank you for pointing that out, Bitapon. I appreciate that. But quite literally, the diamond we have here, it is what did I just do? Basically, what I just did is I went over here and I changed. We have our dispersion set. We have all that set. I literally just took my Octane HDRI object, created that, set it to visible environment only, turned on reflections, refraction, went to my Octane daylight object, went into here, put on image sampling, and took mixed sky texture off. And this way, with our Octane HDRI object set to visible environment only, this will show up in the reflections and the refraction, but nothing else in our scene. So I'm still able to adjust where the caustics show up and the lighting coming in and stuff all through our Octane Sky object, which is pretty nice. Pretty dang handy. So, no worries, you're doing great. Ah, thank you, Thanos. I appreciate that. Glad to have you guys here. It's always fun hanging out with all of you. So, now that we have this set up here, what are we going to do? We need to get like a kind of a backdrop. So a key thing with getting diamonds and jewelry. Right now, I think this looks pretty cool, right? I mean, it's looking pretty decent. We got a lot of stuff refracting around in it, a lot of lights and stuff. But what really brings this home and really sells it is, let's go ahead and make a camera real quick. Let's go ahead and break a camera. Go ahead and hop into here, Octane camera object. Go to coordinates, zero all those angles out, zero all the positions out, hop out of the camera, and just kind of pull it back, hop back into it, raise it up above the ground, just get a kind of basic position here. And what I actually do like to do with a light like this, we'll delete the floors, make a little bit of a studio kind of setup. So we'll make a plane, and then literally I like to just make a bend deformer, select the bend deformer, go to object, adjust its strength, set it to like 90 degrees, see the direction that is going, rotate the bend deformer so it's bending the way you want it to bend, literally then rotate it the other way. It's another 90 degrees. So now we can see that it's matching up with our plane. It's going to start here and bend it the direction we want it to bend, throw it underneath our plane, and it'll just start working. Now, if I select our bend deformer and say fit to parent, it's going to fit it even better. And now I can take its Y length and pull it down, and already we have ourselves a really kind of nice little kind of studio plane. And I can go ahead and scale this up, scale that a little bit longer, take our plane, go to object, and increase the segments to say like 80 by 80. I really don't need 80 segments on the width. I'm just going to do that on the length. So we're going to do 80 on the length, 20 there. Keep our poly count a little bit low. Up that a little bit more. Yeah, that's about right. Something simple, simple, simple. Now I have this right here. Select my diamond, pull this forward a little bit, and we can go back in here, hop back in our camera, and now we got something a little bit cooler kind of going on. Let's go ahead and take our coordinate on our camera, pull this camera back a little bit, raise it up. We got some of this stuff going on here. It's middle mouse click, hop back into our perspective view. One little bonus I want to show you guys is right now we're in our perspective view, right? Everywhere I pan and look, my camera's falling with me. That's not what I want. I want to just render with Octane, but make changes from a different perspective over here. How do I do that? Middle mouse click, go to any one of these other views, not your main view. This is the one you have your camera locked in. So just go to this one here. Go to display, change it to like growth shading lines, and then change your view, or sorry, cameras to perspective. Normally it's going to be like left or right, something like this. So just go to cameras, perspective, boom. You can pan around and have literally no issues leaving this where it is. So you can move the object, move the diamond, it'll automatically update, but the camera is still rendering from this angle. So literally all we have to do now is I can actually create a light. Actually, what I really want to do is I want to go to materials. Let's just make a metallic material, throw this on the floor. That is cool. Boy, that is tempting. I kind of want... Yeah, I don't know. That's cool looking. For now, I'll just keep it a diffuse. So let's go ahead and clear that off. Clear this out. Refresh that. We'll think about that later. That's all for the compositing side. But now we need some lighting. So let's go ahead and go select our diamond, go to objects, go to lights, and we'll do Octane targeted area light. Now, I'm going to take this light. It's already set to target our diamond, so that's good. Perfect. We can go ahead, pull it back, raise it up. And now we're going to go ahead and start setting some of our reflective kind of effects we're going for here. So, excuse me. What our goal is start creating highlights on this diamond. Now, the light is just way too bright right now. Far, far too bright. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this down to, say, a value of, say 3. Yeah, 3 is pretty nice. And now what's so cool is we can really move these lights around in preview live. I'm going to take off our coherent ratio so it stops that flicker. And now what's really nice too is I can up this, go to our camera imager, take our minimum display samples and up that to 32. So now it's not going to flicker as much. It's going to look a little bit cleaner. So now it's a little bit easier to preview live what this light is actually looking like in my scene. So I can pull it back here. You can see I'm getting some reflections. Ooh, see here, if I hit it from the back, we're getting this really interesting highlight right here. So what we're literally creating is like a key light, kind of like something that's kind of like a, or actually this is more like a rim light at this point now. So we're like creating like a rim light effect. I'm going to kind of open this up. Now notice the shadow we're getting from the light. That's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and cast shadows and check that off. And visible transparent emission. Yeah, we want that. And if I pull the camera or the light down, I can do visibility, camera visibility off, and shadow visibility off. Now notice also under light settings, I took cast shadows off. If I had this on, see how we're casting a little bit of a shadow of the diamond? I don't really want to do that. I want to keep the shadows controlled. So I'm going to pull that down, pull this back, and now you can see already I'm creating this really interesting kind of rim light effect. Here it is, right here. Excuse me. Pull it up a little bit. Here we go. There we go. It's kind of about what I was going for. Back a little bit. Something unique, right? Oh yeah, pull this out a little bit. We're getting kind of like this little wash. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. It's just hitting a little too hard. There we go. Nice effect right here. Now I'm going to copy this, pull this to the front, kind of pull it down, bring it forward, maybe off to the right. I'm just going to make this really thin and tiny. I want this kind of really interesting. Let's up the value to something like, say, 10. Just kind of feel it out. Like I want a nice kind of key light effect going on here. I had a really nice lighting setup on the other scenes. We'll see how this kind of goes. I'll take this a little bit like this. Pull this down, pull this to the right, forward. It's all about getting that refraction value to show up, just kind of like you're wanting. I'm thinking if I bring it forward more, here we go. There we go. And scaling it up can help a lot. If you're not seeing it in the reflections that you want, I might pull it over here. Oh, there it is. I think I see it. Yep. So yeah, here we go. We're getting a little bit of a rim. So this one I'm actually going to readjust. I'm going to pull this in like this and go up. We're going to create like this interesting kind of beam of light. So let's go ahead and lower it down. Put it right in front of it actually. We'll see what this does here. And that light's clipping into it. We don't want that. And there, that is an interesting effect. So we're getting like this really interesting rim light here. So again, there's so many controls you can do. I'm going to actually pull this out, pull it down, pull it up. There we go. There it is. So it takes a little bit of fiddling, but again, understanding some proper lighting techniques, which I should probably put a video out on too. Understanding like you have a rim light, you have a key light, and then you have a fill light. You can actually have multiple fill lights. But a rim light is what we have back here. This is a rim light. It's a light that lights it up from the back, like a rim of it, right? So we got like a little rim light going on up here. Then we have a key light. A key light's what kind of creates a sharp front light, something light that's hitting it from the front. That is a key light. So this is like our little key light up here. Kind of hitting that like this. Raise this up a little bit more. There we go. And now sometimes it might be too much, right? Right now I kind of like this. I almost kind of want to pull the light a little bit to the side. Just kind of weight it a little bit. Make it a little bit less perfect. Ooh, I like that. If I pull this up a little bit more. Now, I can actually adjust this by selecting this light. If I take this brightness down, it disables it, right? Or I could pull it up. Pull it up a little bit more, pull it up a little bit more. I can change the brightness, darken it, maybe a little bit of red. Pull it down, change the diffuse, tick the diffuse off, right? If I have diffuse on, it's just hitting all over my floor and my background. It's just too much. But if I check it off, now we're just having it on the diamond. And look how much control you have right here. You're able to achieve, like, it's amazing how good Octane is for this type of effect. So now we're kind of really adding like this warm kind of tinted glow. This backlight, this light up here, this is our rim light. I should probably name this. Let's call rim light. And this one up here is key light. And for our rim light, I can select rim light, and I can actually take our temperature and make it even more blue. So now we have this contrasted blue with a diamond. We can select back on our diamond, select back on here. Maybe we want to take our absorption and disable it entirely. We have this, and we could just literally do this entirely with transmission. So I'll just stick this up here, add a little bit of blue. Just do like a transmission, no absorption on it. Next little trick for the diamonds, right? To add a little bit more life into them. I want to show you guys this. Let's go ahead and make the camera a little closer, actually. Let's just bring it in. There we go. Select your camera. Next thing, set your object. Don't use a 36mm lens. Use a 50. A 50 is going to add more realism because that's what the human eye actually sees with. I really don't recommend ever using the default camera 36mm unless you have a specific reason for it. Changing that perspective from the camera can help a lot. Next up, let's get a little bit more life out of this diamond by literally adding a bevel deformer to it. So drag and drop the bevel deformer onto the diamond. Now, by doing this, what has happened? I want to show you the values I have here. In my bevel deformer, under options, I have an offset to 0.2. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up a little bit. If I put this to 1, it's clipping, right? Just too much. But if I set it to 0.2, we are just creating a little bit of a bevel on every angle of the diamond. We're going to turn this off. So here's our hard edges. Turn the bevel deformer on. Yep, there we go. we're beveling it, plus we're subdividing. If I disable the subdivide, we just get these hard kind of little edges with these little quads here, right? Nothing too special. But if I add one little subdivide to it, we just add a little bit of a curve. Now, it's very important, just a little bit, because by doing this, I add a little bit extra of reflection highlight potential on the edge of my diamond. It's all about creating those hard angles. Now, I don't want it to be smooth. I could crank this up really high to say something like 14. And now it's just a little too sharp, right? It's just not, or not really too sharp, but too smooth. It's too smooth of an angle. And I can actually show you this really good by hopping out, hopping in down here, zoom in something. Yeah, something like around here. Yep, here we go. This will show it off really well. Diamonds are hard edge cuts when they make them. And see how smooth this is? This is just a little way too smooth. So if I go ahead to our bevel deformer and pull this subdivision back down to 1, see how it's this hard edge cut? That's what you want. Diamonds aren't these perfectly smooth edge things. I know it's a really interesting concept because in a lot of work that we do in 3D, we're always constantly trying to smooth things out. Don't use those hard edge polygons. Those are ugly. For diamonds, those hard edges that you get from the polygons are beautiful. That's what adds to the beauty of it. You want hard edges. And getting that is really good. Now you can balance that though with the bevel deformer, which is nice. So that's a key thing, is to literally balance that with the bevel deformer like that, and you can literally get some pretty dang cool values. So definitely recommend doing that. That's going to add a lot more realism and life to your diamond. We're going to hop back in here. We have our lights, we have our colors. I literally want to take one more light. Now we're going to use something called a fill light. We'll take our key light and turn that into a fill light. We'll copy them, pull it down. Now a fill light's job, unlike the rim light or the key light, is it literally just, as its name implies, fills. So I'm going to fill in a little bit of light down here, and I'm just going to turn this on, make sure it's running. Take this light, select it, and we'll keep it. I kind of want a cool tone, and we'll just really brighten it up. And you know, we could use, I could make this another rim light behind the diamond. Ooh, yeah. If I put this behind the diamond, what we're literally going to do, I don't want to make it too bright. Select our key light. This is a new key light. And we'll take X. Yeah, X. And we'll take Y. And we'll just lift it up a little bit. There we go. And now we have this value going on here. We have a lot of calculations going. So let's go ahead and grab our render region. Hop into light settings. Totally pull that value down. And yeah, I mean, we're getting this really cool light reflecting through within itself. And I could pull this back. We could make it really red. Okay, that's cool. But again, I just really wanted to show you guys the potential. I need to polish this up a little bit more. I'm just going to set this to 20. No, it's not 20. Let's do 800. That's way too dark. See, I don't know if I want to do the red. And again, you don't have to stick with lights like this. You could go ahead and switch this light from a black body to a texture, hop in here, hop into the texture, go to C4D Octane RGB spectrum, which should be in here somewhere. RGB spectrum. Hop into the RGB spectrum. We're going to pick a nice purple color. And now literally we have like kind of a purplish blue light being emitted through our diamond. And I don't want to go too bright. A little bit darker, a little bit darker. There we go. That is what I want to see right there. So this is a little bit messy at this point, but it gives the it gets the point across. I feel like pretty good. Now this light is actually clipping into the floor here, so we'll take this light here, lift it up a little bit. The shadows that are being cast here can be fixed by transparent emission. I'm trying to remember. There's a way to fix this. I'm trying to remember how. It's like a reverse caustics effect. I have my overall opacity. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, because if I take general visibility off, yeah, it's take your overall opacity. Really, instead of disabling and enabling the camera and show shadows and stuff, just take its overall opacity and just drag it to the bottom, right? That is going to be a lot better. So now that fixes that there. We get our nice reflections or light. Everything's kind of coming through. I could offset this. Could offset it a little bit. I could take the red and just pull it over. And this is all animatable. So you could literally pull from one side to the other side, just kind of warp back and forth between those there, and you could animate this, and you could do a lot of really cool things with this. Like, there's a lot of potential to kind of warp from one side to the other. But this is basically the setup for the diamond. I wish I could make something more pretty, but I'm starting to lose my voice because that cold. This is a tricky thing. This is why I do these demo runs though live, so I can figure out these issues before I start recording. And I just kind of want to share with what I got so far with you guys. I want to keep my YouTube sharing what I know and keep the info going. Yeah, but it's really so much down to lighting, and this is a way I love to light. Again, having your camera set up in this view and you doing it in this view, so you can move the light but keep this angle. How does it look from this angle? Kind of all visible, and really, you can do some pretty cool stuff. Now, to finally take this home, I will say that what I love to do is literally just going to materials, add a glossy material or a metallic material for that matter. Throw this on here, open up our metallic, take our index, set it to something like blah blah 1.45, take our diffuse color, drop it to black. We have this here, go into here, octane render settings, render passes, enable, beauty pass, don't care about that, render layer, enable, value 2, take our floor we have here, right click, C4D octane, octane right there, set this object layer to layer ID 2, and voila, we have this. Actually, I set this to 1, yeah, and then we set black shadows and reflections, and now we can actually separate our layer reflections on the floor, check, and our noise pass. So now we've separated the beauty and all that, and I can go back here, check on alpha, and we got our alpha going on, so we have our alpha separating that from the background. Layer reflections, which are great. Open this up, go ahead, grab my roughness, so this is something like 0.1? Yeah, something like 0.1, that's beautiful. And now there is the drawback. Could you try dark background just to see how it looks? Absolutely. Sorry, just check chat. Looking great. Yeah, let's go ahead and try a dark black background. Let's go ahead and remove this object tag for a second. And we'll go back to the main view, and we'll go ahead and take that material. We got like a nice reflective background, and you could totally use a diffuse black background and like a little bit of gray, which will add a lot to it. Like a darker background totally is going to add a little bit of much more beauty to this. And this is really going to really make that diamond come to life. And quite honestly, what I've totally messed up on too is we can take our Octane Sky object and just rotate this. Or I'm rotating the HDRI. What am I doing? Take our Octane Sky object and rotate that. Something about here, a little bit like that. Now this sky, if I take our power back up to 1, should, in theory, give us some really beautiful caustics. Yeah, and it's totally doing that right there for us. So we're getting our nice little kind of infinite object. Would you upload this stream on your channel? Official Arts just asked, will I upload the stream to my channel? Yes, I absolutely will. I'm definitely going to be, this is every stream that I stream is automatically uploaded to the channel as soon as it's finished. Sorry, I almost had to cough again. This stream didn't go quite as well as I planned. I ended up having a cough attack halfway through, but that's why I do these little demo runs to figure out what issues are coming up before I start recording. So that was good to know. If any of you guys found helpful, any of this helpful here, hope you check it out. You can definitely, the stream is going to be recorded. There we go. Had another cough attack, but again, speaking of that, but if any of you guys find this helpful, it is absolutely going to be recorded. You'll absolutely be able to use it. Check it out. It'll all be saved. All my streams are always recorded. And I just have to say, this community right here of you guys has been so nice. Thank you so much for showing up to these streams. You guys are always just so nice and so helpful and patient when my streams don't go perfect, like me having a cough attack halfway through. Really, just such a great community. Like, really just wanted to say I appreciate it, guys, and thank you so much. And I have a special little thing I wanted to share with you guys for watching the stream and hanging in. I am doing a Black Friday sale, and it's not technically out yet. It's something that nobody knows about, but I am going to give you guys special access to it right now. I'm not going to share this with anybody else. Anybody who watches the stream is only one going to know. That said, I will be doing a stream or another stream that's going to be talking about the Black Friday, and everybody's going to know about it. But for now, it's completely hush-hush. There's no Black Friday sale going on yet as far as everybody else is concerned, except for you guys. You guys are going to be the ones that know. So if you go ahead, and if you haven't purchased the Octane Master Course yet, I actually say now is one of the best times to do it. I'm having one of the biggest sales I've had since launch. And let's see if I can find the little code. Let's see, settings. Here we go. The code is, a great name, Epic Sale. So here you go. This is the code that you can type in, which will give you a discount. Now, if you want, I'll actually give you an URL. You can check this URL out here, and that will automatically have the code typed in for you guys. And literally, if you check that code out, you can look at the Octane Master Course with the sale. Now, for Black Friday, I'm doing $35 off. So it brings the course price down from $299 to $264. And that is yours to keep forever. So this is a discount that is going, and you will have this discount forever. So definitely check it out if you've been holding off on the Octane Master Course, haven't been sure, haven't felt like you just could afford it yet. It was just a little too much. Hopefully this makes it a little bit more approachable. This is, again, though, a deal that's not officially out. I'm not advertising this. I'm not putting the link out yet. It's not quite Black Friday. But I will say that it does this will expire, this code in this sale in 15 days. It'll expire on the 26th of this month. So definitely be aware of that. It will expire, but definitely feel free to grab this. I will be giving more info on the Black Friday sale, though, to everybody else as time goes on. So everybody will have access to it, but I'm just giving this special sale to you guys. But thanks again so much, everybody. I really do appreciate you guys hanging in with me and just hanging out in the chat. It's really been nice talking to everybody. Really appreciate everybody being here. Heck yeah. Yeah, so happy to have you guys here. And thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for the questions. It was really cool trying out the jellyfish idea. I'm going to have to work on that. I'm going to have to get myself a good model. And that's actually something I really want to try and teach in the Octane Master Course. Make a good jellyfish, something that looks a little bit like this. But thank you guys again so much. I really hope you enjoyed the stream. It was a lot simpler and more limited and shorter than I was expecting it to be, but still working through a cold, so it's making things a little bit harder. Hopefully, definitely promise next stream is going to definitely be better, though. And I'm going to try and set up a little bit more consistent dates for streaming. Try and get myself to stream a little bit more, push myself a little bit harder, make a little bit nicer stuff, hopefully a little bit more on a whim. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bitapon. Thank you, Thanos. Thank you, Javid. Thank you, MNIB. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Glenn, definitely Glenn. Nice to have Glenn here. And thank you, Habil, for the question about the jellyfish. Really appreciate it and hope you found that helpful. But again, everybody, thank you so much for watching the stream, and I will see you all in the next video or next stream. I always say video, but see you all next time.